everyone, welcome to Wilkes Now. I'm Brianna Ebish.
And I'm Jacob Chasen. So I was told that we're on our 9th week of the semester. There's 15 weeks of the semester, I believe.
That's crazy. We're almost halfway through it.
We're more than halfway through
and
it,
we're almost done. It's insane.
The semester's been flying by, but it's so busy too at the same time.
I agree, yep. Online registration for the spring 2019 semester will begin soon. Are you ready? Be sure to set up a time to meet with your advisor so you have a better understanding of what classes you need to take and, of course, your PIN number. The schedule for registration is as follows. Seniors, 10 p.m. on Sunday, October 28th. Juniors, 10 p.m. on Tuesday, October 30th. Sophomores, 10 p.m. on Sunday, November 4th. And freshmen, 10 p.m. on Tuesday, November 6th. If you have any questions, be sure to reach out to your advisor. Now, let's check in with Cabrini in the newsroom for our weekly Beacon Brief.
Welcome to the Beacon Briefs. I'm Cabrini Renicki, the co-news editor for the Beacon here at Wilkes. Here's what's going on this week. The second annual Diversity and Inclusion Conference was held this past weekend. This year's theme was Challenging Our Unconscious Bias. The keynote speaker was Dr. Vicki Sapp, who spoke about how she challenged her own unconscious bias through hard work. Author and journalist Richard Louv held a presentation last Wednesday. The presentation took place at the Dorothy Dixon Dart Center and was free to the public. The event was sponsored by Geisinger, Riverfront Parks, North Branch Land Trust, as well as the university. Louv spoke about the idea of nature deficit disorder, which is the idea that children have behavioral and educational problems due to not spending time outside. After the presentation, Louv held a free book signing. On October 16th, former UN Representative Dr. Patience Steffens spoke as part of the annual UN lecture series. Steffens' lecture was titled Women's Empowerment from the UN Perspective. The presentation focused on the history of UN women empowerment initiatives, both recent and past. Thanks for checking in, guys. That's all I have for today. I'm Cabrini Renicki, and this is Beacon Briefs. Now let's get back to the studio.
Thanks, Cabrini. Attention seniors, if you're planning to graduate in May, now is the time to complete your diploma order and cap and gown order for commencement. Forms and instructions are available at the registrar's office or online under the Registrar Forms area. Completed forms signed by your advisor are due back in the registrar's office by Thursday, December 20th. This paperwork is to be returned to the registrar's office in Capon Hall, along with an updated copy of your degree audit. Check in with your advisor for more information. Now let's check in with Nick with his segment, Nick's Nerd News.
Hey everybody, Nick James here for Nick's Nerd News, the show that gives you your week in geek in just 4 minutes. With that, we got 2 great stories coming up. Let's dive right in. Netflix continues to shake up their Marvel division by canceling Power Man, aka Luke Cage. Man, it was just a week ago that we were talking about how Iron Fist got kicked out, and now all of a sudden it seems like both heroes for hire will be in the unemployment line. Who really knows what's going on? In my personal opinion, if you will, I think that the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the one making the movies, are trying to get all their characters back in for Avengers 4. I mean, Thanos snapped and killed half of them, so I'm sure maybe that's that half and they're coming back. I don't know. Could just be. It's weird that there was 4 characters and 2 died and 2 didn't. Perfectly balanced, wouldn't you say? That's just me, though. Luke Cage, it was a good show. I'm surprised it's not getting its 3rd season, but executive producer Chio Coker had this to say. A lot of memories, a lot of individual thank you calls to make. Just want to say thank you to Marvel, Netflix, the best writer's room, cast, crew, the midnight hour, all those who grace the stage of Harlem's Paradise, and the most incredible fan base in the world. Forward, always. He sounds to be optimistic, so we should be too. All the cast and crew were obviously very talented. I'm sure things will be okay. Second story, kind of the longer, bigger story, if you will. Really awesome. If you have been a fan of the CW Network superheroes DC shows, it started off with Arrow, then they added in The Flash, then CBS did Supergirl, and then they didn't want to do it anymore, so they went to CW. All of those shows are now on one universe, and what they like to do is cross them over and do long events. They're entering their new crossover now, and it's going to be called Elseworlds. Those who aren't really too deep into DC Comics and what they do, Elseworlds is a way for them to have side stories that don't connect to the main storyline, the main numbers, if you will, of the story, but they still get away with it. It's a way of like having their cake and eating it too. In 1989, there was a Batman issue called Gotham by Gaslight by Brian Augustine and Mike Mignola, and that kind of started it. It was this idea of what if Batman was actually steampunk and in Europe during the Jack the Ripper crisis. I mean, who doesn't want to go out and read that right now? Or if you don't want to read it, really cool, last January, DC Animated put out their adaptation of it, and it's still just as steampunk and punk rock and really awesome. Go ahead and look that up. But anyway, that's the idea of an Elseworlds. It's a what if without having to touch the main continuity. Now, this one, what we've seen, we have a photo of Stephen Amell dressed as the Scarlet Speedster. If you look right behind his shoulder to the right, you can see Grant Gustin in the green hood, and you also get Melissa Benoist there as Supergirl. These three characters are all coming together, and the cool one that we don't see in this photo but is shown up in a previous photo is Tyler Hoechlin. He's this universe's Superman. In my opinion, now that Henry Cavill has taken the exit door, he's going to be the only Superman. They're going to tie him into more stuff. But anyway, we've seen him in the black and silver Superman suit, which if you're a fan of the death of Superman, which isn't just something like metal to say, no, the storyline, the death of Superman, when he dies and comes back, he comes back in that suit. So maybe we're going to even visit more worlds than just this one that has Grant Gustin and Stephen Amell switching their suits. If you've liked this episode of Nick's Nerd News, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe down below and come back every Tuesday on YouTube, 2 p.m. for new episodes of Nick's Nerd News. I've been Nick James. Thanks so much for watching.
Thank you, Nick. Do you like a warm coffee or hot chocolate to get through the cold Pennsylvania weather? Well, the Criminology and Sociology Club is selling Wilkes University travel mugs. You can buy one for $15 or two for $25. The mugs will be on sale from 11 a.m. to noon every Tuesday and Thursday in October in the Henry Student Center. Be sure to stop by or contact brianna.wenzel@wilkes.edu to make a purchase. Now let's check in with Kiara as she takes us on a tour of our new Wilkes campus.
Hi, this is Kiara Cruz reporting live in front of the Carambella Center. We're here to take a tour and show our Wilkes community and see what do you guys think of the newest additions into our Wilkes campus. Let's go check it out.
Wilkes University has worked tirelessly to have created the Stark Learning Center, Carambella's Communication Center, and also our newest addition, which is coming very soon in 2018, our Ralston Athletic Complex. Now, the Stark Learning Center, which was just newly renovated in 2018, which is probably 128,000 square feet, the Stark Learning Center has stood in the university as the largest, most prominent academic building for at least 6 decades.
So what is your favorite addition to the Wilkes University campus?
A lot of the new innovative lab spaces, like the additive manufacturing lab, are really nice to see. It helps us get a taste of what we're going to get in industry and really promotes innovation.
What is your favorite addition to our campus?
I'm a fan of like the collaboration rooms for studying because it gives more privacy, and I'm also a fan of the new lab spaces they gave for like physics labs.
Okay. All right, so what do you think of the Wilkes University renovations?
I actually really love it. It's great that we've gotten a lot of innovation within our engineering center, and we have a lot of great new labs and great collaboration spaces.
So what would you like to see added to our Wilkes University?
I would love to see more spaces open so we could collaborate on projects. A lot of the rooms currently, they fill up pretty quickly, so it's kind of difficult trying to find space to work on stuff.
Okay, so what do you think of our newest renovations to Wilkes?
I think they're really great. I think they're really attractive to alumni, the current students, and incoming students, so I think it'll be a good thing for Wilkes in the future.
Great. So what is your favorite addition?
I think my favorite addition would have to be the renovation of the Greenway with all the gateways, and I'm really excited for the spring when we can bring out all the picnic tables and have everyone outside again.
Okay, and that has been our tour of the Wilkes campus. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Kiara. Do you have a love and appreciation for the arts? Share your passion for the arts of the community by volunteering at the Sordoni Art Gallery. When you volunteer at the gallery, you'll be supporting our mission by directly engaging visitors with the arts. Students, faculty, staff, and community members are all welcome to apply. To apply, please fill out their short online application form or contact Nikki Lewis at nicole.lewis1@wilkes.edu for additional information.
We'll be right back with more Wilkes Now after this short break.
Mother Earth, a gift under our care. Let's not go back. Nurture nature. Nourish the soil and your soul. Let's mend our planet together. Make Mother Earth smile.
Welcome to Sports Now. I'm your host, Kirsten Peters.
And I'm Eric Bideman.
In fall sports news, women's volleyball had a record-setting week, with junior Jamie Mikovic surpassing the 1,000 career kills mark.
In the matchup against Bryn Athen, Mikovic recorded 3 straight kills in the second set to push Wilkes ahead.
Bryn Athen then regrouped to tie the score at 12 before a junior Michelle Natalie kill and freshman Laura Booth ace put Wilkes back ahead. Mikovic then recorded her 1,000th kill to make the score 19-14 off of an assist from freshman Carly Huffman.
Wilkes finished the match with a season-high .341 team hitting percentage to improve its overall record to 17-10.
Mikovic led the offense with 16 kills and a .600 hitting percentage. She also added a team-high 7 digs.
Junior Alex Ferrier followed with 9 kills while Natalie had 5. Huffman finished with 35 assists in directing the efficient Wilkes offense, and sophomore Christy Nijic tied her season high of 6 digs.
The Colonels look to face Misericordia tomorrow night for their last MAC Freedom matchup.
In Wilkes football news, the Colonels had their 3rd straight victory with a 31-16 win against FDU Florham, with the total team effort leading to the Colonels' success.
For the first time in his career, senior Jeff Sieber was named the MAC Offensive Player of the Week.
Stieber hauled in 9 catches for 127 yards and 3 touchdowns to lead Wilkes to its 3rd straight win.
He collected his 100th career reception in the game, catching touchdowns of 20, 24, and 39 yards, all in the first half. The wide receiver outscored the high-scoring Devils by himself, 18-16. This is the 3rd weekly award for the Colonels this season.
However, after coming off of the first 3-game win streak since 2009, Wilkes fell 33-21 against Stevenson. Turnovers proved to be costly as visiting Wilkes University was unable to fight all the way back from a second-half deficit.
Stieber led 7 Colonel receivers with a catch, finishing with 9 receptions for 131 yards. It marked the 6th time the senior wide receiver went over the 100-yard mark receiving this season. Sophomore Nick Yannick followed with 4 catches for 93 yards and 1 touchdown.
Junior quarterback Jose Tabora finished 23 for 37 for passing for 300 yards and 2 scores while rushing 15 times for 47 yards.
With a 500 record, the Colonels look to win their upcoming matchup against Lycoming at home this Saturday.
As for Wilkes soccer, the women went 1-1 on the week with a 3-0 loss against Misericordia and a 6-0 win against Manhattanville on Senior Day.
On Saturday, the Colonels hosted a breast cancer awareness match to celebrate the life of Susan Dalton St. Ange, an alumna and member of the first women's soccer team at Wilkes, playing on the team from 1987 to 1990.
Susan was passionate about her time both at Wilkes and as part of the women's soccer team, remaining active within the Wilkes alumni group long after she graduated.
Wilkes will continue to host a game in her honor each upcoming season.
Not only was this day meant to honor Susan, but each of the senior Colonel players were honored as well.
The 6-0 win against Manhattanville proved to give the Colonels their highest single-game goal total all season.
All 6 goals were scored by different Colonel players, with Nicolette Talon, Jessica Egan, Emily Worth, and Nicole Harmer scoring in the first half.
Tatiana Mancera and Allison Pete each tacked on a goal in the second half to give the Colonels the 6-0 victory.
The women will face Oneonta tonight in a non-conference matchup.
As for men's soccer, they are currently on a 3-game losing streak. Junior Kyle Benz scored the Colonels' lone goal in their 3-1 loss against Manhattanville on Senior Day.
Goalkeeper Tim Gallagher made 3 saves in the final home game of his collegiate career.
The men look to travel to Penn College tomorrow night for a non-conference matchup.
As for field hockey, Wilkes University senior standout Haley Gajowski has been selected to play in the Victory Sports NFHCA Division III senior game.
Gajowski was one of 4 Middle Atlantic Conference players to be chosen out of the 60 seniors selected to participate. This week, the Colonels won their matchup against crosstown rival King's College 5-3. Gajowski scored 2 goals on the day. Sophomores Allie Dunn and Maddie Kelly and freshman Lauren Baldwin each tacked on a goal for the Colonels' 5-goal win.
Play began to tilt in King's favor late in the second half when they cut the deficit to 5-3 in the 63rd minute following a save from senior Dallas Kendra off a penalty corner. But the Colonels' defense held strong to finish the game as Kendra had a fine afternoon with 12 saves, a season high for the senior.
Wilkes fell in their second game of the week 3-1 to DeSales. Sophomore Zoe Stepanski opened the scoring for the Colonels when she tipped in a shot off of the corner from freshman Lauren Shiplett at the 25-minute and 4-second mark in the first half. However, DeSales responded quickly to Stepanski's goal, tying the game at 1 just 4 minutes later. Wilkes would not regain the lead for the rest of the game.
The field hockey team looks to travel to Misericordia for a conference matchup tomorrow night.
As for men's soccer, women's soccer, and field hockey, each of the 3 rank among the leaders of the NCAA Division III statistical categories after the first 7 weeks of the 2018 season.
Entering this week, the men's soccer team ranked in a tie for 28th out of 413 teams with a 6.62 corner kicks per game. Senior midfielder Camry Huff was tied for 47th in the country with 6 assists.
On the women's side of things, junior defender Jessica Egan is tied for 32nd in the nation with 4 game-winning goals.
Additionally, the field hockey team ranked in a tie for 44th out of 165 teams with a 1.79 assists per game.
In cross-country news, sophomore Noah Molina ran the Colonels' 11th fastest time since 2008 with a career best of 27 minutes and 55.4 seconds. He placed 259th out of 400 runners and paced the 8 Colonel runners on the 8K course at the Inter-Regional Border Battle.
On the women's side, all 6 runners set their season best times. Sophomore Autumn Pedron improved upon her career best time with 25 minutes and 45.1 seconds to place 282nd out of 347 total runners as the top Colonels finisher.
At the LVC Last Chance Run Fast, only the men's team competed, finishing 7th out of 8 teams. Freshman Dylan Courier was the first Colonel finisher, coming in at 29 minutes and 47.2 seconds for 60th place.
As for golf, the men will look to compete in their final contest of the season on Sunday at Misericordia. The women have completed their season and will return to the course in the spring.
As for the Beacon Athlete of the Week, it's senior football player Devin Fink on the men's side and junior soccer player Jessica Egan on the women's.
Be sure to grab a copy of the Beacon around campus. That's all we have for today in Sports Now. I'm Eric Bideman.
And I'm Kirsten Peters. We'll be back after this public service announcement.
Just go do it. Go do it. If you're not in control, then who is? Live above the influence.
If you want to stay on top of your health, one simple thing to do
is take the pledge to go and get screened for the cancers that might affect you.
So stand up, cancer, and take the pledge at GetScreenedNow.org.
It only takes a minute to take care of yourself,
and nothing rhymes with org.
Nope, nothing rhymes with org. Who wrote this?
And welcome to Wilkes Weather. I'm your host, Tyler Aldinger. Currently outside, it is 54 degrees out, a mix of sun and clouds outside, so the high for today will be 55 degrees, and sunrise, sunset decreasing every day until we turn the clocks back. So as I said, mix of sun and clouds for the rest of the day, high of 55 degrees. The rest of this week, mostly sunny and partly sunny, highs in the mid to upper 40s, which is more than average at this time of year. Going into the weekend, we should remain mostly dry, but there is a potential for some rain on Saturday night into Sunday, and then early into next week, the cloudiness continues. Highs stay relatively in the mid to upper 40s. So here's the model. This afternoon, with the mix of sun and clouds, there is a small potential for some rain. This model not showing as much rain in the area as much as this one does, with a little bit of rain. I don't necessarily agree with this. I think we're going to remain mostly dry for the day, mix of sun and clouds for the rest of the day. And now this is for Thursday night into Friday. So basically you can see this wave of cold air coming into the area. It is going to be a low of 28 degrees. So obviously at nighttime the temperature is getting a lot colder and below freezing. So you have to watch out for frost first thing in the morning, which may kill some of the grass. So looking ahead, sunny, cool, and crisp into the weekend, consistent 40 degrees and some potential rain for this weekend. And that is all for Wilkes Weather. And now Parker and myself did a pizza review, so we'll be back with more after that.
Outside of the pizza capital of the world, NEPA. So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to try, we each got a slice. Parker here, he got Sicilian because that's his favorite. I just went with plain pizza. So we're going to take a couple bites of the pizza, the crust, then we're going to get it for the score 1 to 5. I know Parker's going to do it 1 to 5 pepperoni. So now, before I get started anyway, so Parker and I had this great debate. A lot of people consider pizza pie. They'll say, all right, let me call and order a pizza pie. Parker says otherwise. Parker, you want to say what you think?
Having lived and grown up in Pittston my entire life, you call it a tray. It is called a tray, not a pie. And if you live in Northeast Pennsylvania, it's a tray. I'm sorry.
Well, it certainly is interesting. So, first looks at things, pizza's really greasy. So, Parker, if you want to, I'm going to take a bite of my pizza and then I'm going to rate mine.
Yeah, yours looks like it's like falling off almost. But yeah, the Sicilian's not bad. It's somewhat thick. The bottom's a bit burnt a little bit. It's really crunchy on the bottom. At the top, it's soft. And it's garnished with a little bit of garlic. And the cheese is kind of melted in with the sauce, so it sort of has like a bit of a salty flavor to it.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. This is pretty salty. There's not a whole lot of sauce. Not a whole lot of sauce in the pizza.
Yeah, a lot of it's like cheese just laid on top of the sauce.
Not terrible though for a slice.
Yeah, it's not bad. Certainly have worse, but I mean, it gets the job done.
The crust is very crunchy. Although I don't like the ratio pizza to sauce, obviously.
Yeah, there's very little sauce on this. I would prefer a little bit more, but again, it's not bad. All right, I would give this pizza about 2.5 pepperonis out of 5. I mean, it's a little bit pricey for my liking. Like this whole cut was about $3.20 or something like that. It's a bit pricier to my liking, and it's really, it doesn't do anything to stand out. It's really salty. The crust is really crunchy, and there's not really too much sauce on it. And even the little garnish of garlic's not really doesn't really add much to the flavor. So it's just really salty, and I've had better.
All right, well, it feels like we got a hurricane going on out here. I'm getting pelted with some rain, so I'm gonna go lower. I'm gonna go with about a 2 out of 5. pizza really salty, not a whole lot of sauce. This tastes really a lot like the pizza that I've had around this area. I'd rate most of them 2 out of 5. They're pretty much identical, all forgettable. 2 out of 5 for me.
Alright, I'm Parker and this is Tyler. This has been our episode of our pizza review. Be sure to tune in next week, and back to you in the studio.
Do you consider yourself adventurous? The Adventure Education Club is hosting indoor rock climbing sessions every Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. in the McHale Athletic Center in Yukon. Equipment will be provided and students of all skill levels are welcome. Contact Jill Price at jill.price@wilkes.edu for more details. Now let's check in with Neil in his segment Scientifically Speaking.
Hello everyone, my name is Neil and welcome to Scientifically Speaking, a show where a variety of science topics will be discussed. You can find topics ranging from biology to psychology and even more. All that I ask for you to do is to come into the episodes with an open mind. With all that being said, let's get right into it. American author David Barry once said, "There's nothing wrong with enjoying looking at the surface of the ocean itself, except that when you finally see what's going on underwater, you realize that you've been missing the whole point of the ocean. Staying on the surface all the time is like going to the circus and staring at the outside of the tent." He is right. The ocean is beautiful, but many people don't realize what is underneath it, that whole thing. It has many wonders and curiosities. One of these curiosities are so small, but in big numbers, they can pack a big punch. These little guys I'm talking about are called dinoflagellates, also known as the terrible flagellates when translated from Greek. 90% of dinoflagellates are marine plankton, also known as algae. There are also many freshwater species, some of which have been found growing in the snow. Incredible. They may be photosynthetic or non-photosynthetic. About half the species fall into each category. These cool little critters take up residence within other organisms as symbiotic partners. They may be found in many marine invertebrates, including sponges, coral, jellyfish, and even more. In each case, the host organism is able to swallow the dinoflagellate and incorporate it into its own tissues without even harming it. The dinoflagellate then divides repeatedly to increase its numbers and begins to manufacture carbohydrates, which are provided to the host. The degree of interdependence varies greatly. For instance, the sea anemone, which can survive quite well without its symbionts, while certain corals absolutely have to rely exclusively on the food from their symbionts and build reefs much, much faster, exponentially, with the dinoflagellates present in their tissues. The dinoflagellates are sometimes called phyrophyta, meaning fire plants. This is because some species are capable of bioluminescence, in which chemicals made by the organism produce light in a chemical reaction, which is what we will be getting into. The most dramatic effect of the dinoflagellates on their environment occurs in coastal waters during the warmer seasons. At this time, an upwelling occurs in the ocean, bathing the surface plankton in nutrients from the bottom of the ocean. The surplus of nutrients triggers a bloom of photosynthetic dinoflagellates, whose population density may jump to more than 20 million per liter across some coasts. This high density may color the water golden or red. This is where the name red tide comes from. In some species of dinoflagellates, these blooms are associated with the production of neurotoxins, which are poisons which injure the nerves of marine life that feed on dinoflagellates. The result may be massive losses of fish and shellfish life, as well as other forms of marine life. If animals containing these toxins are eaten by humans, the results may be illness or even death. The most common dinoflagellate toxin is cytoxin, a neurotoxin 100 times more potent than the drug cocaine. It has been found in North American shellfish from Alaska to Mexico, from Newfoundland to Florida. Red tides where cytotoxin is mostly produced on the west coast and the east coast of North America. This neurotoxin causes progressive supranuclear palsy, also known as PSP, a brain disorder that affects movement, control of walking and balance, speech, swallowing, vision, mood, behavior, and thinking. The disease results from brain damage to nerve cells inside, of course, the brain. But not all algal blooms are harmful. Most blooms, in fact, are beneficial because the tiny plants are food for animals in the ocean. In fact, they are the major source of energy that fuels the ocean's food web. Scientists at the National Ocean Service have been monitoring and studying this phenomenon for a number of years to determine how to detect and forecast the location of the blooms. The goal is to give communities advance warnings so they can adequately plan for and deal with the adverse environmental and health effects associated with these red tide events. Thank you all so much for watching this episode. My name is Neil, and I'll see you in the next one.
That's all the time we have for today. Just a reminder, you can watch us live every Tuesday on Service Electric Channel 97 at 12 noon. Also, check out our YouTube channel for episodes of the show.
And in case you missed it, our broadcast re-airs every weeknight at 7:30 p.m. I thank you very much for watching. From all of us here at Wilkes Now, have a great week.